Hi, and welcome to video number 1 of the Deep Questions and Dark Chocolate channel. I have a goal for this channel, and it's quite simple. There's a true lack of genuine, authentic dialogue about real spirituality in our nation's discourse. There's kind of a need to keep the big questions alive. The questions like, what is the meaning of life? And there's so many around that. And American culture is kind of obsessed with celebrity, sports, social media, entertainment, etc. It's pretty superficial culture. So the antithesis might be the transcendentalists of the 1830s out in near Boston. Emerson, Thoreau, all the others, they got together for these long, rich conversations at night after lots of reading, lots of writing, lots of thinking, lots of solo time, and they yearned for intense spiritual experiences, and they sought to transcend the purely material world of reason and rationality. So Henry David Thoreau went to live on a beautiful, clear Walden pond in Concord for 18 months, a year and a half. And he just wanted to be in total solitude so that he could live deep and suck the marrow out of life to really find the essence of life. And he also said that it enabled him to march to the beat of a different drummer. I love that saying. That was truly helpful to me in high school. Everybody in high school goes through times where they don't fit in, they don't belong, and certainly happened for me. And so to know that I could march to the beat of a different drummer meant so much to me. And I had this wonderful teacher, and I could talk to him after school about the book, and that was what really got me fired up about academics finally in school. Then 10 years ago, my niece took our family to a very nice long dinner at a fondue restaurant. It was a great 2-hour deep discussion about lots of deep life topics. And then it finished with this incredible dark chocolate fondue. And dipping strawberries and bananas in that was just delectable. So at the time, I was working at a small Christian college where students love to have great discussions about life and spirituality and relationships. And so I was leading these discussions, and it hit me, okay, I'm going to call this discussion group Deep Questions and Dark Chocolate. And I provided the chocolate fondue. And so students would sit around in circles around this pot of fondue until about 2 in the morning discussing all their big questions. And it was just wonderful, rich time. And that's coming back into my life now. I'm working at that same college again, leading that group, and it's really, really fun. So I also started this with an adult group, which you're welcome to join if you want. Just put your email in the comments below. And so ever since the pandemic in about 2020, we started this group, and we get together on Zoom, and about a dozen people. And again, I just toss out an email on Saturday morning, let everybody kind of marinate on some questions, and then we discuss them for about 90 minutes on Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. Central Time. And it's a great group, and I love it. I love it because so many spiritual teachers, like Mary Baker Eddy, I grew up in Christian Science on Mary Baker Eddy, and she taught by questions and answers. And so I seem to have a lot of questions. I don't know, I'm wired that way. And then this group is wired very deeply. They're wired for answers, so they love to provide answers. It's kind of a selfish endeavor where I get all my big spiritual questions answered every Sunday morning, and it's fun. So what's great about YouTube is that a dialogue can be had via the comments section below. So I'm going to toss out 3 questions here today, and perhaps offer my best take on them, and then I'd love to get your take on them in the comments. And that could make for some rich exchanges and discussion. And then, of course, if you want to join our Sunday morning group, just shoot me an email. Just put your email in the comments, and I'll get you on our Zoom list. So here's a paradox that vexes my soul pretty well. In quantum physics is the most undisputed theory in science. There are no detractors to it. There are no doubters or anybody arguing. It's absolutely true that when you take the atoms, molecules, everything that constitutes our material bodies and the material world, when you break those down in a microscope, there is literally nothing there except energy. Therefore, if the human body is made up of nothing but energy or thought, then should we only be working on understanding our freedom in this life, that our bodies are literally free and complete and whole and healed. This lines up perfectly with how I was brought up in Christian Science. And yet I also know that when I've had some serious health challenges, and so to fix those, I've really committed to getting great sleep, eating a good, clean Mediterranean diet, exercising regularly and vigorously, and I found that my body works and serves me a lot better when I do that. So these two things are true. When I take care of it materially, it works better. and yet it's entirely spiritual. It's entirely energy or thought. Those are two kind of opposite things. How can those two different things be true? This is a paradox. And a lot of people find that as they go deeper into life, you just start to get comfortable living with paradoxes. I have some friends who are very good at that. I'm not so good at that. So tell me how you resolve this paradox in your mind, in your thought, in the comments below. Again, this is so cool and so fun. Two opposite things being true at the same time. Again, pretty mind-blowing, but there might be a cool answer to that. Question number 2. There are many people in the spirituality community online who believe that we are 100% living inside a simulation or a dream or a video game, a computer game. And the purpose is to fully learn the lessons of life. Things like love, trust, forgiveness, faith. Faith when things get hard. Are we willing to stick with that faith, like Job in the Bible? Or like Paul, who found that God's grace was sufficient for him, even though he was going through hell. And he lists all the hellish things he goes through: beating, stonings, whipping, shipwreck, being alone in the deep, being in prison, rough life. But yet he's feeling a bigger grace from God, a grace that's bigger than all those things. So I tend to agree with this, and maybe when we pass on, it'll be very similar to waking up from the dream that you and I had in our subconscious sleep last night. I might be wrong on this. Is this life entirely a dream? I tend to agree with the folks who think so. If I'm wrong, change my mind. I would love to hear your comments below. So if the above statement is true, and this is a dream, why would we try to heal or fix something inside this dream? I don't try to do that inside my dreams at night when I sleep. I just wake up from them. So should the focus be waking up from it, waking up to our, perfection, our wholeness, all that's good stuff. Okay, last question, third question. Every human has to deal with the concept of money to live. We have to sustain ourselves. We have to eat, so we have to get money, and we have to get a roof over our heads, so we have to get money to do that. So the concept of money to me is really strange in that if the government prints too much money, as we saw during the pandemic, there is inflation, and that hurts people. That's bad. If they print too little money, there is stagnation in the economy. So the government has to try and walk that fine line, find that middle path, get it right, so we all thrive. So this limited supply of money is put out into the economy, and humans all have to go chase it. And scarcity is just built into the equation. There will be haves and there will be have-nots. And so how do we overcome this? What do you do with this? How do you process this? If humans it's all set up so that we have to overcome our fear of not having enough. And so that plays out in many different ways. You see, greedy people, like, for example, the fossil fuel industrial complex. ExxonMobil is making some of the largest profits in the history of mankind. And yet their product causes climate change, which is causing these fires, which is causing bad air quality right where I am today. It's terrible. Not a great thing to go outside. And so, we have a certain group of people who are putting their personal need for corporate or personal profit above the common good of all. So clearly there is a fear of not having enough money. So are we in this existence with this concept of money to just simply relax and learn that there is enough good for all? How do you process that? I would love to hear that in the comments below. So that concludes our first video, and thank you for watching. If you click like and subscribe and then put some comments down, that's what enables me to get this channel going, to reach more people and have these rich discussions, which is fun. I've learned that only 1% of people on YouTube make money, so I'm not any hopes that I'm going to be one of those big social media influencers. That's not going to happen, but I love these conversations. So give me your best comments. Would love to see them. Thanks for watching.